bodybuilding almost saved you at that point. Like the fact that were so muscular, it almost like kind of saved you in that moment, no?
My doctors unequivocally said that's exactly what saved me.
Wow. Holy smokes.
There's no doubt in their mind. But it also was a not hard. It was a almost impossible situation because they had no idea how to treat it. I was listed as terminal for over a month. I would hear nurses outside my room saying that he'll be dead soon, essentially. They didn't know you hear that because they think you're passed out. They don't think you're conscious and you're coming in and out of consciousness and all the drugs and all the. It started to get better, then it got worse at about 40 days in because I was bleeding out internally. Things just didn't get better. And they didn't, it sounds a little more obvious now, but they really didn't know why I wasn't getting better. At first, when I was first in there, they were like, oh, what supplements does he take? And what is he a Reuter? And he maybe injected. Yeah, because Reuters inject into their upper pec and into their soleus. And I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But I mean, what did I inject with like 40 dirty needles or something at once? They just had no idea. So they were jumping at everything. They wanted me to bring my wife to bring in all the supplements I take, which, are creatine and citrulline and multivitamins and omegas. You know what I mean? Like they're not super fancy, crazy stuff, obviously, which annoyed me because the whole time I'm like, that's not it, guys. Move on. Just move on. That's not it. Let's try to find a reasonable answer and not like whatever this is. I weighed under 130 pounds at the end of this.
So, and for those listening, you compete as a heavyweight, right? So if you were weighing 130 pounds, yeah.
17 on stage around 212-ish was about what I was like at IPE Worlds. The lowest my weight ever got was about 200, but not stage weight, like low weights, deep in a prep with really low carbs, you know what I mean? I was about 215 when this happened, probably, 10 to 12 pounds away from contest-ish, basically.
And off-season weight?
I tried to stay, reasonably lean around 230-ish morning weight, around there. Earlier in my career, I competed at a heavier, or I go heavier on my off season, but in that range. So I had lost, 15, and I probably had 15 to go, basically.
Do they know what causes that?
So Clostridium septicum is just it's everybody has those bacterias, but they're held within they're not allowed in the bloodstream. So that seepage through that is what caused it to enter out of that contained area. Your bowels have all that nasty bacteria, but they're contained. That's why, there's a lot of times I think people will hear about somebody just dying in their sleep. It's this kind of stuff that people just die and they don't really know why. Because what are they going to do? Like cut the person apart, try to discover what it's just one of those. It's like, a heart virus type of death. There's a lot of people that die of this kind of stuff. You just don't know because they're dead. And what's the point? You know what I mean? And nobody really knows. And you're not going to devote that much medical attention to try to figure out, the mechanism. So I know there's people on my Facebook. There's a little girl that is on my Facebook that something similar happened with her appendix. And she's had tons of surgeries. Luckily, she didn't have sepsis, else she'd probably be dead. Because sepsis alone kills, half the people that have it, that by itself. But over time, luckily my kidneys recovered. So the dialysis thing faded away after I think I had 5 or 6 times, which they had no idea if it would. So my kidneys recovered, my heart seems to have no issues. Really, I'm worse than I was before, except missing a leg.
That goes to show you, like, people are always looking for like the next thing, the next best thing. It's like you were running a specific thing for almost majority of your career, and then pretty much ran something else for the latter of the part of your career. It's like 2 things basically, whereas people are like jumping from full body to this to that. It's like a million things right within like the span of a year, and wonder why they don't get anywhere.